Today, I'm going first class on the world's only 7-star sleeper train, with just 20 passengers on board and tickets so exclusive you have to enter a lottery just to purchase. I'll give you a never-before-seen insight into exactly what it's like to live on this train, from the most luxurious suite to the food you get in the restaurant cars, and of course the culture. With that, let's pick up our story in Japan at 9 AM. Well, hello there and welcome back to the channel. You join me here at the Ritz-Carlton, where we're going to begin our journey over on the 7 Stars train. So without any more to say, let's head down to the lobby and go and get our transfer over to the railway station. We're met warmly by one of the train's staff, who shows us over to our taxi. Our transfer will take approximately 10 minutes over to Hakata railway station. In the meantime, I'm presented with my ticket in a beautifully bound 7 Stars folio. The excitement is building, and rightly so. This is Japan's most luxurious train, and is so special as the odds to win the lottery to purchase a ticket stand at less than 1%. Welcome to Hakata Station, the largest and busiest in Kyushu. Though you wouldn't think it given our private entrance to the station and indeed exclusive lounge, specially for the 7 Stars train. Let's head inside and complete the check-in formalities. I'm greeted by soothing notes of the grand piano, along with a refreshment in form of Japanese sparkling rosé. Time to head over to our reserved table in the corner. Now to have my ticket checked and stamped by the conductor. Oh, and raise a toast to our departure. I guess it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Next, we're escorted down to the platform. Not before getting an obligatory photo on the red carpet. We only have a few moments to wait on the platform, and as you can see, there's never a quiet moment at Hakata Station. Here she is, the Kyushu 7-star sleeper train, which cost a whopping 3 billion yen to build. With no time to waste, let's get on board. Nothing can quite prepare you for this. It's a beautiful symphony of old and new, along with the smell of rich rosewood as I walk to my suite 701. Departure, as you'd expect in Japan, is to the 2nd, and on the strike of 11 AM, we begin to roll out of the station. Our journey will take a total of 3 days, but for the first section of our trip, we'll be heading eastbound to Yufuin, before continuing on to the mountainous region of Asao, home to some of the world's largest active volcanoes. But for now, let's explore our suite. I've mentioned this is only bookable by winning a lottery, though I of course found a way around this, of which I'll share in just a moment. So welcome on board the 7 Stars train, and you've probably seen them in the background. Welcome back to the channel, Dad.
Hi.
How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. This is fantastic.
This is quite hard to put into words, isn't it?
Yeah, but we'll try.
Yes, let's have a proper look around our new home. Taking up half a carriage and uniquely the full width of the train, Suite 701 is quite unlike anything I've ever stayed in before. But what truly sets this apart is the huge rear window. For now, the locomotive is attached, but this will swap to the other side of the train tomorrow, giving us uninterrupted views of the Japanese countryside. There's also a firm but comfy sofa, a writing desk boasting AC controls, and a phone which is available 24/7 for anything you should need. Oh, and there's also a small complimentary minibar. Bedroom wise, there's 2 twin beds the other side of our suite, which also feature AC along with lighting controls. Naturally, you'll find your ensuite bathroom just down your private corridor, which is most spacious and closer to what you get in a luxury hotel. There's of course a Japanese toilet, beautifully handcrafted sink, and a huge shower. We've just been notified of lunch, which also gives us a chance to explore more of this magnificent train. Whilst there's Wi-Fi on board the 7 Stars train, it's not been necessary, as I've been able to stay connected to Millie back home throughout my trip in Japan by using Airalo, a convenient eSIM technology provider. Airalo makes travel seamless because I no longer have to get a physical SIM when I land in a new country or purchase an expensive global plan, as I simply buy one of their affordable eSIMs before my trip, and once I land, I have access to data roaming without having to do anything, keeping my original home number. Airalo is so useful when I travel to multiple countries like on this trip, the UAE, Japan and Singapore, because they offer SIMs in over 200 countries and territories. They have eSIMs that cover entire regions like Europe, the Middle East and Asia. Stay connected during your next trip, cheaper and hassle-free by downloading Airalo now, via the link in my description or by scanning the QR code right here. Plus use code TREK23 for $3 off your first purchase. Airalo has made my life so much easier and cheaper, and I can't wait for you to try it too. Let's start with the dining cars. Welcome to Jupiter. I suppose this is more of a lounge space for pre-dinner drinks and to meet fellow passengers. But it also includes a special tea room, where we have a scheduled tea ceremony tomorrow. The other unique aspect is the open kitchen, where you're able to meet the chefs before you dine. For each meal there are new chefs from different parts of Kyushu. This brings us on to the main dining car, named Blue Moon. Just judging by the entrance, it's most impressive. We're warmly welcomed by the staff as we get first look at this extraordinary carriage. Today we're sitting right at the very back of the train, by the spectacular full-sized window, of which Dad insists I take the window-facing seat. Menu-wise, we're straight in with a Japanese set meal, which expectedly is seafood biased. There's also an extensive included drinks menu, with a lovely looking Charles Heinsick standing out to us both. As we glide gently through Kyushu, our first dish is served. The sesame tofu. Next up we have the conger eel in a bowl. Now for the somen noodles with eggplant. To close we have the melon vanilla sherbet sorbet with a champagne jelly. Lunch was tasty but for sure a little different to what I'm used to. And that's the excitement when travelling in Japan, and indeed travel in general. The 7 Stars train is one of 3 within Japan which are accessible by lottery application. The others are the Twilight Express operating in Sanyo, and the Shikishima from Tokyo. Both of which, and after years of lottery applications, I've managed to secure bookings on for next year. Meanwhile on board the 7 Stars, we're about to come to our first stop of the trip. Well, afternoon from a slightly rainy Yuffin, I think it's called. We have got an excursion. Yeah. It's warm but wet. Thankfully the team are on hand to distribute umbrellas for our excursion off train. But the question remains, why have we stopped here? Well, it's a popular resort town known for its hot springs and of course the twin-peaked Mount Yufu, which is an active volcano. Our guides take us on a short walk across town to a traditional Japanese inn, known as a ryokan. It's here we're invited to relax and enjoy refreshment, whilst listening to their 1930s gramophone. It's time to reboard our magnificent train.
Here we are. Well, welcome back to our room.
Yes, welcome back. That was a great little excursion.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's now time for dinner though, isn't it?
Yeah, you better smarten up.
Yes, indeed. I had to ask for an iron because my shirt is a bit of a mess, unfortunately, as a result of travelling here. It's worth noting there is a dress code on board, and for the evenings a shirt, chinos and jacket is a requirement, so I best get ironing. As we lock up our suites and head out, the train begins to glide out of Yufuin station, bound for Assau. So one of the perks of being in the suite is we're invited to the special onboard bar, located up the train in car 3. Named Kazoo Bar, it's an experience in itself, with seating for just 4 passengers. Photos are not allowed inside the bar, for reasons I'm unsure. We're served a delicious gin and tonic, and a rather special Hibiki 21 may have come out to play. Now for us to experience this, it's free, but usually it's available to non-deluxe suite passengers for $170 a person. Now to head back to the Blue Moon dining car, we're met with gentle piano music beckoning us to our table. Tonight we're seated centrally in the car, allowing us both a vantage point out of the window. It's a French-inspired menu, with the chefs being from Yufuin. To kick things off, we're served a delicious 2018 Bollinger Pinot Noir, which, may I add, is delicious. To begin, there's a sliver of saffron pound cake. Do I use my hands? Next up, the corn soup with abalone. Now, I wasn't sure what abalone was, so I've looked it up. It's a mollusk that lives in coastal seawater, part of the family of sea snails. Okay then. Now for something a little more substantial, the yellowfin tuna and asparagus salad. It's phenomenal. Though you'll note everything so far has been a little seafood biased. Let's change that with some delicious Wagyu beef, served with a red wine sauce and grilled shiitake mushrooms. And finally, to close our French-Japanese fusion meal, some grapes and sable ice cream. How's Dad finding the experience so far?
Oh, well, quite tiring, but
Yes.
yeah, enjoyably so, yeah.
Absolutely. But now I think it's time to turn in for the night. We have had our beds made up, so should we go and see what that's like?
Yeah.
But first I'll change into these particularly fetching silk pyjamas. Much better. These are incredible. I wonder if I can take these home. Anyway, the bed. Good morning. I slept very well, likely in part due to my jet lag. But we're greeted this morning by the absence of the locomotive, meaning we can experience this room at its full potential. It's time we give that wonderful shower a go. Hello from Assau. We've got a couple of hours here and it's a chance for us to get off the train and stretch our legs. In fact, we've got breakfast served over at the station, so let's get off and go and explore. Rather uniquely, the 7 Stars train have their own private restaurant right on the platform. Let's take a seat and see what we've got on offer. Usefully, a map of our breakfast is provided, though in Japanese, so this menu will come in use to determine our spread. I adore the amount of detail that goes into this, but where to start? Yeah, the tempura, of course. Caffeine wise, I've ordered a double espresso to start the day off right. Okay then, shall we go and have a stroll around Assau? I love the snapshots you get of local life walking through these stations. Assau is pretty small, with a population of around 25,000 people. It is, however, popular with tourists exploring the national park, but also those wanting to get a closer look at Mount Assau, which is the largest active volcano in the entirety of Japan. For us though, we have about 30 minutes before our departure, so it's a quick stroll through town while we stumble across a convenience store. Call me obscure, but I love looking at such stores in other countries. Naturally, we have our eye on another caffeine hit to remedy the jet lag. It's time to head back to the train. I still, to be honest, keep pinching myself that I'm on this. It's such a surreal experience. For the next leg of our rail voyage across Kyushu, we'll travel over to Kumamoto, and whilst we do, I think it's the perfect time to take a look around more of our train. Let's start with right next door, in Deluxe Suite B, room 702. This is around 2/3 of the size of our suite, largely because it cannot make use of the full width of the carriage. Of course, the remaining 8 suites are also well appointed, though smaller at 100 square foot. During the day featuring 2 lounges, which convert at night into twin beds. You'll also find an ensuite bathroom, complete with a shower. Okay, it's time for our tea ceremony. Just behind the main saloon, you'll find a tiny traditional tea room. Of course, we'll first need to remove our shoes before entering. We're warmly welcomed by Suguru Tokabushi, a tea master from Kyushu, who will firstly serve us the most precious and indeed most expensive green tea, Yurozu. Ordinarily, a cup of this costs around $40. Next, we're served a special matcha tea, but it's actually what it's served in that's most precious. This priceless teacup, which is over 500 years old. Welcome to Kumamoto Station. Here we'll transfer over to another means of transport, but worry not, we'll rejoin the train later. Introducing the 7 Stars bus, but this is no ordinary bus. With just 24 seats, this luxury coach is used to reach areas of Kyushu where the train cannot go. It's well thought out with a kitchen at the rear, along with a small toilet. Well, it's certainly the nicest restroom I've ever seen on board a coach. Crikey, I've only just realised the ornate handcrafted ceiling. So where exactly are we going? Well, we're heading over to the ferry terminal, of course. I can't say I anticipated this mix of transportation today, but I'm all for it. After having our tickets checked, we're able to board this high-speed ferry, named the Ocean Arrow. It's a public ferry which operates a rapid service between Kumamoto and the Nagasaki prefecture. Our train will go the long way around and meet us on the other side. Welcome to the Nagasaki prefecture. We'll now be driving up and into the Unzen Amakusa Volcanic National Park. So tonight we're actually not getting back on board the train, we'll be doing that in the morning, but for now we need to go and explore where we're going to sleep tonight. Yes, so in a strange turn of events, we'll be staying in this traditional ryokan, although this happens to be the best room, well, villa in the entire property. There's a main living room, tea room, a volcanic hot spring, well, an onsen. Upon exiting the onsen, I find something more traditional to change into for dinner. Yes, this is served in our own dining space. Would you look how beautiful this is? Firstly, we're served sake, as the menu is presented to us in both Japanese and English. I'll kick things off with a Kirin beer and Dad a red wine. To begin, we're served a dish described as delicacies from the sea and mountains. I wish I could explain more. Now I do understand our sashimi platter more. We've got sea bream, squid and more abalone to enjoy. Now for lobster with a rich butter sauce. A warm towel later and we're on to our final course of Nagasaki steak with seasonal vegetables. That was quite the experience, that's for sure. Some of it out of my comfort zone, but hey, that's what it's all about. This morning we're off for a hike around Shirakumu Pond, though this comes with the finale of a freshly brewed tea. And you know how much us Brits love our tea. I make it about time to join back up with our train. I've loved exploring, but I need to get back on the rails. For this, we'll need to head back down to sea level to Isahaya railway station. It's welcome back on board the 7 Stars train. You'll notice the locomotive is back in front of our carriage, but worry not, this will change briefly. Our next leg will take us to nearby Nagasaki, where the loco is going to swap to the other side of the train, leaving us with uninterrupted views up to Usa Iwasaki, where we'll arrive tomorrow morning. We've just reached the outskirts of Nagasaki station. This is where the loco will swap, and we've got front row seats. Meanwhile, our cabin attendant offers to bring us mid-afternoon tea, but favouring coffee, we've instead gone for 2 Americanos. And would you look at that, our train has completed its turnaround and is heading for the rear. It's nearly dinner time, and it's apparently our grandest one yet, so best get a shirt ironed. I must say, ironing at the rear of a moving train with this view is surreal. Yes, you do see correctly, we have geishas hosting this evening's festivities. This is certainly a first. So, what is a geisha? Geishas are purveyors of Japanese traditions, and in today's capacity will host us this evening by means of conversation and a performance. We're shown to a new seat by the window, just as the sun begins to set over the water. Our geisha hosts introduce themselves to everyone whilst we take a glance at this evening's menu. It's extensive. Time to bring out a personal favourite, Krug Champagne, and whilst this is at an additional charge, it's worth it. After a brief chat with our geisha hosts, it's time to get stuck into our meal. To begin, we're presented with this immaculate looking lobster, which turns out to be raw, well, sashimi. Certainly a new experience for us both. Next up, the braised pork belly, which is phenomenal. In a strange twist of events, Dad has been invited to assist the geishas with a performance. Bravo, old chap. Now for some Japanese rice and Hokkaido style soup. To close, we both enjoy the yogurt mousse with a fig compote. Well, that was quite the event, though it's not over yet. As we walk into the Jupiter Saloon, we're met with a final geisha performance, along with a sake nightcap. G'day from Usa Station. We have a brief excursion this morning, a meditation experience at an 8th century temple. Like clockwork, the 7 Stars bus is waiting for us, ready to transport us this short journey to the sacred temple. This is the oldest surviving wooden building in Kyushu and a designated national treasure. We've been granted a rare opportunity to meditate with one of the local monks here. Feeling somewhat revitalised after our meditation, it's time to hop back on board the train via Kitsuki Station. I'm presented with a deliciously refreshing lemonade. and ushered on board with an imminent departure bound for Hakata. There is of course one area we've not explored yet, and this is the onboard shop. This is open throughout most of the journey, offering a variety of traditional crafts from Kyushu and local artisans. Given that it's a bit quieter in the Blue Moon dining car, let's take advantage of that incredible view. Naturally, this will be enjoyed with a coffee for Dad and a DC for me. I think it's high time we discuss the cost of this trip. So ordinarily, as explained, one cannot just book this, and instead you have to partake in a lottery. Given I applied for years with no luck, I managed to find a private charter of this train by a UK based company. There was still a lottery of sorts, given the popularity of the suite I wanted, but I was successful in securing this for a grand total of, wait for it, $38,000. Yeah, I too need to sit down after that. Shall we have some lunch? We're served a traditional Japanese lunchbox, otherwise known as a bento box. Aside from being beautifully presented, it's of course delicious. To complement our lunch, we're offered some local Japanese beer, served in ice-cold copper mugs. To conclude our lunch, a member of the team performs the JR Kyushu dance. And just like that, we roll into Hakata Station, and thereby concluding our experience of the exclusive and luxurious 7 Stars train.